Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my week 1 wrap up for February Fantasy Stories, or FFS, which I am co-hosting with a lot of great channels, which will all be linked down below. And week 1 was all about reading classic fantasy under 250 pages. I finished 2 books, short books, for this week, and I'd like to tell you about them. The first book that I read is The Tombs of Attawan by Ursula K. Le Guin, and this was a fantastic book. I really loved this one. The first book, Wizard of Earthsea, I liked it. It had a lot of classic fantasy elements that I really enjoy, with a young protagonist that finds out that he is magical or special in some kind of way and has to go on a long journey to discover his full potential, that sort of thing. It had all that going for it, but I thought it was a very simple take on that story, which I've read before in formats that I liked better. You know, I liked a couple other books that seemed similar better than The Wizard of Earthsea, but The Tombs of Attawan is something completely different, and it took me by surprise how much I really liked this book. And it happens quite a few years after Wizard of Earthsea, and it happens in a completely new area of this fantasy world of Earthsea. So it happens in Attawan, in these tombs, and the protagonist is this young girl who has lived in the tombs almost her entire life, since she was very young. And she's like this special one, like this leader of this dark group of priestesses. She's supposed to be their leader priestess reborn, and who keeps being reborn, and they keep finding the new daughter to live in these tombs underground in the dark, along with many other priestesses. And this is like a matriarchal society going on. The women are the priestesses and the men are like servants, pretty much. But this book was very dark, which, you know, is kind of my thing, so I loved it. I loved how dark it was. I loved the ideas. I loved the main character and her struggle with who she is and who she has to be and what she can be, or if she just has to stay this priestess of like these dark immortal god type creatures that live in the tombs. I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. I can't wait to read more into this series. I also listened to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. And I did like the story. I thought it was a very cute children's fantasy story. I probably would have given it 4 stars, but this particular production of the audiobooks is fantastic. This set of audiobooks came out back when Prince Caspian movie was coming out. But this is created by Focus on the Family Radio Theater, and it has a complete cast. It has like movie quality sound. It has original music. It has actual sound effects. Things like you could hear you could hear their boots actually clomping through fresh snow when they get to Narnia, that kind of thing. And opening heavy wood doors, creaking, and it just was fantastic quality audio experience. And that is what made me bump up my rating to a 5 stars. Now, I don't know if all, like, the audio versions of these books are all that amazing, or if this was just a special thing that they made. But I think it might be. Let me know if you've listened to audiobooks of the series, if they were that amazing quality or not. I'm very curious. But yes, I would recommend, if you can find this version from, I don't know, when was that, like the 90s? Late 90s or something? Yeah, if you can find that version of the audiobooks, I highly recommend them, because they are quality. And that is a book that was written in 1950. It has so many classic fantasy elements, like a portal to another world, an evil witch, personified animals, and just a whole lot of magic. And I really got caught up in the story. I really liked it. So that's what I read for Classic Fantasy Week for FFS February Fantasy Stories. I'll be back very soon to show the stories that I roll with my D20 to see what short stories I'll be reading for Sword and Sorcery Week. There's so many great options that the roll of the dice can choose. I would be quite happy reading any of them. Like, I'm super excited. So that TBR video will be out soon, as well as my wrap-up for Sword and Sorcery. And if you are participating in February Fantasy Stories, I hope you're having a fun time. I'd love to hear what you finished for this first week. Also, I'd love to hear from anyone if you've read these books that I read and what you thought of them. And I will be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks.